the discussion segment on this morning on ITV. We're taking a look at the call by the Ekiti State Governor. Suggested that the Senate should be scrapped, knowing fully well the money earmarked to run the Red Chamber. But that didn't go down too well. Well, the president of the Senate, Ahmed Lawal, came to explain to Nigerians the importance of the Senate and if it should be scrapped, how it's going to affect democracy. Of course, from the negative dimension, that's where we really have the heat. But some are like saying, yeah, why not just have a house, but I still cut down the pay or make it part-time. But some are saying, let it go totally. Let's see if Nigeria would just move forward. But Lawan made a statement that running off the Senate doesn't take up to a 2% or was it 1% of the national budget. So why the call for the scrapping or even the reduction or part-time of the Red Chamber? With me here in the studio to talk about this, I have a legal practitioner, a public affairs commentator. Join me to welcome Barrister Emmanuel Obakmolo. Barrister, welcome to TMI Sunday's edition.
Good morning, Wilson, and good morning, viewers at home.
Right.
It's a pleasure being here.
Okay, you get to hear him talk slowly, softly, but he hits the nail on the head. He is a youth activist, a very vibrant youth, a political analyst. Join me to welcome Emmanuel Aibogun. Emmanuel, welcome to TMI Sunday's edition.
Yeah, good morning, Wilson, and good morning, viewers at home.
Okay, now this is not the first time we're hearing about make it part-time. Cut the salaries of the National Assembly members, but this one seems to be new. The idea, or will I say the call for scrapping it in totality, take out the Red Chamber from the equation so that Nigeria can save a lot. Don't forget that in Italy, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks back, they reduced the number of parliament, both the upper chamber and lower chamber. They say they want to save at least 10 billion euro in 10 years. That is a projection. They cut down the numbers drastically. I don't know, taking away from that angle, do you think that the call by the Ekiti State Governor a time ago that they should scrap the Senate, do you think it is worth looking into? Emmanuel Aibogun.
Yes. Frankly speaking, there are certain issues with the legislative arm of government, particularly the National Assembly, that calls for urgent review. I, for once, is somebody that believes that the over-bloated wages of these honorable and senatorial members in the National House of Assembly should be cut, downwards, because you see somebody that gobs as much as 35 billion naira, on monthly basis to just represent the interests of the people. Under that same senatorial district, you still have over 3 to 4 House of Assembly, House of Representative members cutting across the constituencies. So it is high time we look into reviewing that downwards, because when you look at these monies, the way they might appropriate it, recently you saw the borrowings that the federal government decided to embark on, and a bulky amount, nearly about 30 billion was set aside to renovate the National Assembly. And one would ask, what is the viable representation these persons have given to us? But from that, coming from the governor of Ekiti, I am not too pleased with that, because he is one of those governors that have not respected the fact that the local government is also a tier of government. And when you hear such people who have not respected the constitution to the latter...
No, you just can't say that they didn't respect the constitution. We'll talk about the local government. And of course, the view of 35 billion per person a month, I don't think you're exaggerating.
No, let me say something here. President Muhammad Buhari has given a directive that all monies to the local government should be paid directly to the local government. How many state governors today are respecting that? Will I call it a presidential directive? These are the questions. When certain persons believe that because of the power of a state, they try to jettison the interest of other smaller organs of government, and have this presiding, phase of activities in the local councils and ward levels, you wonder how such a democracy will strive. Look at what is being seen in China. In China, government is at the ward level. people get interventions, not even from the federal government, not even from the government at the center. They get intervention from the local government, from the ward level. You know, if we are not taking governance to the grassroots, we are still in that, you know, that fix of underdevelopment. Look at what is happening today at the Senate, where people will sit down and appropriate monies, you know, for buying of vehicles. As far as I'm concerned, the Nigerian National Assembly have bought vehicles, you know, spent more money in buying vehicles than what have been used to run several states in this country. And if we continue to toll these paths, I don't think our children will come out, you know, tomorrow to meet a country that they can rely on to have a better life.
All right.
So some of these issues are issues that should be on the national, you know, burner, not politicizing policies of government and making us feel as if all is well, why it's not well.
All right. I'll come back to you, Emmanuel. Now, Barrister Obakbolo Emmanuel, both of you are namesakes. Can you imagine that, Emmanuel? Okay. Now, the Kebbi State Governor, Kayode Fayemi, has advocated the scrapping of the Senate in order to save costs. He says bilateral cameral legislature is more expensive, that Nigeria should focus on unicameral legislature, focusing on the House of Representatives. But Lawal reacted to it, saying, look, if you should do that, it will affect democracy negatively. What do you have to say about that?
Listen, first and foremost, I am not too surprised that the person of Kayode Fayemi will come up with that kind of idea or philosophy or whatever we may like to call it. The thing is that really every person, even young men, women on the street, now know that our political office holders are really taking everything at the expense of the people. Just like my friend said here, approximately 35 billion naira going to an individual. And at times they nickname it, they will tag it that is for senatorial projects or constituency projects. And you don't see any of the projects these men give. You don't see it. You go to the constituencies, you go to the senatorial districts, you don't see anything. And every time, instead, some of them will see at the end of the day, they'll begin to display their wealth, they'll showcase the varieties of cars they have, houses and all whatnot, and the people are suffering. Like I did say here, I said, what the people are asking for is, we want the government to be close to us. For goodness sake, is that too much for the people to ask? I heard the Senate President saying some days ago that if you don't like our faces, you can vote us out by 2023. Can you imagine? Is it their faces that we have come to look at? For me, that statement is disappointing. I do not expect the person of the Senate President to make that kind of statement.
But everyone is entitled to their opinion.
Because no,
they are entitled to their opinion. He can say what he wants to say.
But it's not their faces we are looking at. We are not interested in their faces. We are interested in the governance. We are interested in the kind of laws that we make that will affect the people positively. We are interested in what they can do in their senatorial districts. That is what we are interested in. Every one of them seated there, you see elaborate houses, cars, fleet of cars, expensive cars, bulletproof cars. And when the people are hungry, even the person of the governor who made that statement, himself, the security votes he gets every month, what does he do with it? But yet you see every one of them, and the same person who is speaking just now, tomorrow we turn around again, after leaving government house, we go to the Senate. If it does not go to the Senate, he will be hunting and fighting for one ministerial positions. To tell you that these men, they are really bereft of ideas, and they don't know what they are doing. And yet the people are suffering. However, I will not subscribe to the idea of scrapping the Senate. I will not subscribe to that. What I think should be done is they should reduce the monies given to the Senate. The money appropriated to that Senate chambers, they should be reduced drastically. Should be made, for instance, I remember some time ago when Hillary Clinton came to Nigeria, and she said that the salary of the president of Nigeria for a year is that of the president of America for 4 years. You can just imagine that. And yet we have people who are suffering. Now they are talking that Nigeria is in recession. Some will still be denying it, that Nigeria is not there, that this and this and this, they were giving us one flimsy excuse or the other. They were watching at them. The truth is this: the Senate should be remain as encapsulated in the Constitution, Section 5 of the Constitution, but then the monies appropriated to it should be reduced drastically. If a senator at the end of every month gets 300,000 naira as his salary, is that not enough? For me, that is enough. They are giving them millions of naira, and what they will do after some time, they will tell me and you that, look, we have all of this. So that is the problem, I think.
No, all right, now, I want to correct an impression, right? The both of you are talking about 35 billion monthly. Is not up to that amount. That is exaggeration, and we don't really appreciate exaggeration. You talked about also them not having a clue. Some of them will take it with a pinch of salt, while others will not tolerate that because they are there for reasons. They have clues on their own dimension. They want to make the country better. According to Nigerian Senator Salary Calculator here, BBC, when they compare, some of them talked about from their own estimate 13.5 million naira monthly. Yeah, Nigerian senators are entitled to monthly expenses of 13.5 million naira, not 35 billion. Now, having said that, he said, yeah, not 35 billion per month. So that is an exaggeration. I want to put that in perspective right now. Now, from what he said it's not aimed for the scrapping of the Senate, but there should be a reduction in the income. So do you think that should be the best way to go about this, rather than scrapping of the Senate?
Everybody in Nigeria, including a wheelbarrow pusher, including the woman that sells tomato and pepper in the market, knows that the cost of running the Senate is on the high side. When Mr. Wilson, I gave your indulgence, I want to, take some points which my brother had just mentioned here. Yeah. He did make mention of our senators, bereaved of ideas. Let me quickly say, in which parliament in the world you approve a loan for over how many $1 billion? I'm not so specific. For the federal government in one sitting, in a particular sitting, no deliberations in the House. Nobody knows, what the intentions of government are. Say you want to build rail lines. How many rail lines have the government built? That you are still borrowing more. You are approving a loan for federal government where say, the National Assembly is to get over 30 billion naira to renovate the National Assembly. If you have been to that complex, you agree with me that, in fact, that building stands the test of time for another 30 years, even if maintenance is not in place. But on that same particular structure, you have people that are being contracted to maintain the building. So when you marry these two things, these obvious things that are here, you be of the idea of me that these people do not have the Nigerian masses at heart. They don't have the Nigerian masses at heart. How many times have you seen our senators who are approving these loans, who are chairman Senate Committee on Railway? How many times have you seen them plying our rail lines? No, they all move by air. They all move by escort on the road. So if they are doing things that will not benefit ourselves and them at the same time as at today Nigeria, when do they want us to enjoy the Commonwealth for our state? Putting all of this together, these are some of the reasons why Nigerian youths are on the streets agitating today. You are not giving people hope to believe in the system. Imagine just 8 years ago or 10 years ago, thereabout, we had Vision 2020. 2020 is December. We're getting into December at the end of the year. What can we visualize today in Nigeria that we can be proud of a government that, of this democracy that have lasted for the past 20 years? What can we come out to say this is what we have benefited? So if we are obviously shying away from the truth, we would not move forward as a people. And I would not want to be part of that society where everything will be seen to be collapsing on a daily basis. These are issues that affect our system. You see Senate members going on all sorts of variety of trips, traveling here, traveling there, this one, that one. But the impact of all this is not being felt. It's not being felt. Even when you talk about the constituency projects, how many of these projects that are visible, that you can see, beat your chest to say, yes, these people did very well. Even if in recent times we have seen improvement in one or two senators in our constituency here in Edo South, But we would not say that that is enough, because what is expected of them, you know, the benchmark, you know, it has not gone halfway. So our Nigerian leaders must understand these things that they are doing is bound to collapse. A country that is planning to fail can never see that developmental strides of a better nation. So these are the issues.
All right.
These are the issues.
All right. Now when you say the brief of ideas, many will want you to jettison that, because right now Buhari has finally sent petroleum industry bill to the National Assembly, which will pass through the Senate, and so many other bills that will benefit Nigerians. So if you say they are brief of ideas, that is not correct. They have ideas. They are deliberating. You know, right now we really have to go with what is on the ground. I'll come back to you, Emmanuel.
Yeah.
I'll come back to you, Emmanuel. Now, if you take a look at, you know, our Senate, yes, you're right about the how much loan now? That is 22.7 billion or thereabout loan approved by the Senate. Nigerians, they kicked against it, but it's for a reason. Now, let me come to you. He talked about some of these senators not really representing the interest of the people. Many of them were just in that idea because you get some of our senators coming back home to carry out some project to empower people. Don't you think that this is enough to really make them remain where they are and to improve on what they've done?
Wilson, it's not their birthright to be there. If there's nothing they are looking for at the Senate that is making them to fight tooth and nail to ensure that they continue there, then why are we here this morning? Let me tell you, the chloroquine bitter truth is that the cost of the Nigerian Senate or the Nigerian National Assembly is too expensive. There's no way in the world where you see this kind of running of the National Assembly. It's too expensive. Okay, the purported projects, they say some of them come to their various senatorial areas or districts to come and do. Have you seen any?
You've seen some schools, seen some empowerments. Yeah, even in those states,
a block of classroom. For how much? That is what we are talking about. A block of classroom for how much? It's not come to tell me that we have a block of classroom for primary school at Igoraki or at somewhere Abudu or in Benin. A block of classroom, and at the end of the day, you will tell me that a block of classroom costs you 900 million. Does that make any sense? In a country where so many are hungry, I tell you, Wilson, this morning as we are here just now, some persons are out there looking for what they will eat. The day we die, they will not get any. And yet, we budget money, you see people job. Now, the monies they are borrowing, all of this, the petroleum bill you talk about, for how long have they been telling us about the petroleum bill? Of what effect? Even with the petroleum bill at the Senate, some persons are still telling us that Nigeria want to be refining or bringing fuel from Niger Republic. Is that not a shame? Where did we get wrong?
Well, the difference for that, they have more than enough to use it. They should give to Nigeria.
Niger.
That's the reason that was the reason they gave, that they have more than enough.
Wilson, I am privileged to be in Niger. I am privileged to be in Niger. There is nothing in Niger. The water Niger drinks, Nigeria give it to them. And you are telling me that there is fuel somewhere in Niger and they will be bringing it to Nigeria. The other day, somebody woke up from the wrong side of his bed and said, you see, we will construct rail to Niger Republic. And people are saying, oh, the government is working. Where is this government working? And the people are crying. The same government who came up to say, COVID-19 palliatives. And some of the palliatives were hidden somewhere. And when the people who saw and or happened to know that the palliatives were hidden somewhere, and they went after the palliatives, they said they are looters. The person who kept it there, who is he? So, we see, let us tell ourselves the chloroquine bitter truth. If not, we will remain where we are.
All right.
The government is not sensitive towards the plight of the people.
Some may just say that.
The government is not, I should be heard on that.
Even at that.
The government is not sensitive.
I will come back to you.
Of the people.
I will come back to you.
The Nigerians are suffering.
I'll come back to you. I'll come back to you. Yes, because the government has a different opinion that they are sensitive to the plight of the people, but it's his own opinion. Apart from that, you have to really watch your emotions. I know that this topic is quite emotional, but please, gentlemen, watch your emotions. Now, let me come to Emmanuel. If they should scrap the Senate, then there will be an imbalance in representation when we talk about governance.
As far as representation is concerned in Nigeria, when it has to talk about lawmaking, till date, you still have councillors, you still have House of Assembly members, you still have House of Rep members, and now you still have the Senate. In all of these 4 chains of representation, lower, semi-lower, low, high, and highest, you have still not gotten any difference. You know, the other day I took time to study through what the Ministry of Budget and National Planning, you know, had released to certain states, you know, across the country, and calculated what got to local government. I took time to calculate what, in fact, my local government has received for the past 5 years. And I asked myself, where are they using this money? Where are they using this money? We don't have good primary health care. Our educational system, since the time of Shagari, they are always trying to renovate classroom. They are trying to, you know, recruit teachers. There is no standard. As of today, ASU is still on strike. So what is the value? At times I ask myself, this Nigeria, is it worth dying for? If our politicians know what the first stanza of our national anthem talks about, arise, O compatriots, Nigerians call, obey. Who is the Nigeria and who is calling for what? And who must you obey? So if we do not marry our conscience to the obvious realities that is on ground, Nigeria will collapse. You see people shouting here, they want a referendum. You see this one shouting, they want Oduduwa. This one shouting that they want it is because of the failing system. If as of today I can wake up in the morning, you know, I have a good route to drive from here to Enugu. As I'm going on the road, I know that there's security. My life is safe from here to Enugu. I don't meet any form of police stop and search and thereabout. There will be a relative peace in my mind that there's a society that cares about my interests. But when you look around, you see that even those persons who ought to represent your interests directly, they don't. Tell me today, how many representatives from the local government to the House of Assembly, to the House of Reps, to the Senate, how many of them come back home on a monthly basis to give a scorecard on what their achievements have been as to representing the interest of their people? Today, how many senators, how many House of Assembly members in the various constituencies that makes up our legislative houses, how many of them go back to the grassroots and tell these people that we are doing this, doing that, doing this to engage you? Recently, when you saw the NSAS issues, you saw where people were driving motorcycle out of a senator's house. Motorcycle that this senator will not drive, his children will not drive motorcycle. These things are meant for the extreme poor. You will acquire them with government resources and you will put them in your houses. In any sane society, such a public official should be persecuted, should be prosecuted. So we in Nigeria here, it is you and I that is the poor man that are being made to face the wrath of the law. You see somebody go, look at the Radiologist Okalo was sentenced to prison. How he managed to maneuver within the system of our law is still baffling to today. So if tomorrow I go and commit one form of financial misappropriation, I believe there's a back window because I share the same political interest, not even ideology here, interest.
But they call it loopholes in law.
When you say loopholes in law, what is now the business of our legislators in the hollow chambers that they occupy?
That is the question.
When you talk about loopholes, are they not there to ensure that the laws are made to ensure that everybody gets justice in the system? So this is a gross example of letting the public know that they have also failed. And the question to ask, if at my age today, I am still lamenting about Nigeria, before I was born, Fela lamented, Wole Soyinka lamented, Gani Fayemi lamented, Falana is still lamenting. and many other comrades are still lamenting.
Oh, right.
When will we get it right?
Okay.
The Nigerian government enjoy this business of criticism, from what I've noticed. Because you cannot tell me that a government will not plan to move its people from hardship to better life. It is not just only with the Senate. It is not just only with the legislative arm of government. Although they have the bulk to ensure that our democracy is shaping to what will benefit everybody. Because they are the lawmakers. Because they are the watchdog of the executive. If you go across to the 36 states of houses of assembly, how many of them have really carried out appropriate oversight on the activities of their state government?
All right. All right.
How many?
All right, Emmanuel. Emmanuel, that is your last line because you spoke on at length. You spoke your mind. You have others to really throw more light on this same particular topic. Now, you're going to have your last line right now. But for what Rochas Okorocha said, a member of the Senate, he said rather than scrapping the Senate, let each state produce just one senator. That will reduce costs. I think that's better that way.
I still stand my ground.
Yeah.
The 3 senators from each state, for me, is not too much. What I am saying is that the cost should be drastically reduced. If you say, okay, let's go by what Rochas is suggesting, that one senator. At the end of the day, you take everything that belongs to 3 senators and still give to one senator. Have you done any change? So, my own opinion is this. It's not the number of senators that really matters. It's the cost in running the National Assembly. And even with the huge cost, which is used, the people's money, to run the National Assembly, in my own opinion, the National Assembly is a mere rubber stamp. Because they are there, unlike those days, during the time of Joseph Wire and others, where you see the Senate. The Senate was like more like really proactive, so to speak. But today, no. They just put on agbada and just go there and sleep and take sleeping allowance, take smoking allowance.
Hold on now. This is where I put my foot. That you don't call them sleep. They don't go to make laws. All right, they don't get smoking allowance. That's way below the belt. Please. There see some situations where some
sleeping allowance.
Some yes, they fell asleep. Not all of them. 1 or 2 examples. But when you generalize, that's where we say no. All right, we see an incident that it happened. Yes, there's later some of them they fall asleep. Maybe due to age or thereabouts. So you wouldn't say they collect sleeping allowance and
due to age. No. They should retire.
Fine.
Listen, in the same National Assembly, we saw somebody who stole maize, and the person today is moving around with security.
Okay, thank you so much, gentlemen. I mean, Emmanuel's namesake, you are just going the same line. Anyway, we have other guests to really throw more light on this. I really appreciate a wonderful analysis, top notch. Whatever you hear them say here is their opinion. It has nothing to do with ITV. All right, we'll do our best possible to make sure the follow rules and regulations governing the airwaves. Now, I have a professor here of Uniben coming in to really throw more light on this. Raphael Ehigaton, of course, a legal practitioner. Thank God, they will come and really throw more light on this. But it may interest you to know that as it stands, the current legislative arm constitute of 109 Senate members and 360 member of House of Representatives. Yes, and in the recently presented 2020 budget proposal, 125 billion has been set aside for the National Assembly. We'll talk about this when we return after this break.